Hello everyone and welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today, first off, I'm using a different microphone because my microphone has been like kind of bad lately. I don't know if anyone's noticed it because I feel like it is kind of hard when I like cover it over with music and everything, but basically there's been like some strange popping sounds, it cuts out a little bit, and then also it randomly starts peaking and has like really distorted volume. So I'm temporarily borrowing my brother's microphone until I can get a new one, probably for Christmas. But whatever, in case you're wondering if there's a difference in audio quality, that is why. But I digress. Today, we're going to talk about my least favorite streets in Wizard101. Now, you may be like, Noah, you just did that like 2 days ago. No, 2 days ago, I did my least favorite quest lines in Wizard101. And this is a significantly different topic because my least favorite quest lines doesn't necessarily mean my least favorite streets. I have some streets in this game that I despise that have nothing to do with the quest line. Right, so today I thought I would go over that, share my least favorite streets, probably top 5, we'll see, depends on if I can fit into top 5, might just be my least favorite streets in Wizard101, whatever. Let's get into it, starting with Ravenscar. Now this one had to immediately be on the list. There is not a street I hate in this game more than Ravenscar. I literally hate doing it with a passion for so many reasons. Let's start off. First off, Ravenscar you need to do to get into Wintertusk, so it's basically a must-do for most people if you want to kind of get this game in a little bit of an easier method, a little bit of a truer method in my opinion. You need to do Ravenscar. You unlock Ravenscar at level 40. And to get into it, you actually need to beat a boss called Jotun in Nidavellir, which admittedly isn't that hard as long as you have multiple people, but doing it as a solo balance, I basically cried. It was really painful. This street has so many problems with it. First off, it is very, very long. This street is a solid, like, I think 30-40 quests long, which is longer than some worlds. And a lot of those quests are bosses. As you can see here on this map, there are 9 bosses in this street, which is a little bit much considering the fact that it is a single street for a level 40. The second thing is that there is a lot of walking and the teleports don't really help. The teleporters will get you places. They're a little bit better than they used to be. I think this one used to be over here, and then this one used to be like somewhere else. This one used to be somewhere else. The teleporters have been made a little bit more useful, but they're still not really that good for a lot of things. A lot of things you need to walk to like awkward places. And then the final thing is that there's actually quite a few collect quests with a very low drop rate on collecting. This street, I'm telling you right now, with power questing on a max level, power questing a lower level, it still took me an hour to do. This street just really is painful. There's no way around it, and therefore it's probably my least favorite street in the entire game. I don't think I've ever come to Ravenscar and went, yes, I am doing Ravenscar, I'm excited. Like, literally, there has never been a time. I always find Ravenscar to be incredibly painful. But let's move on to the next street on this list. For this next street, and this is where we're going to have a little bit of overlap with some last lists. There's going to be some more overlap, but this is the first instance. Crustacean Empire is one of my least favorite streets in this game. And, again, similar to Ravenscar, one of the main reasons is it takes literally an hour even if you're power questing yourself through it. Almost exactly the same as Ravenscar, the teleporters aren't exactly in the right places, so you still need to walk quite a bit of a distance from the teleporters. There is a lot of walking in the street, and by a lot, I mean a lot. Like, there is a vast majority of it is walking. And then finally, to top it all off, it is an underwater level. I don't know how many people share the opinion with me that underwater levels are awful, but I really genuinely think underwater levels are the worst, and there is nothing worse in any game than an underwater level. It's always just really painful. But the one flip side, the only good side to this is look at my panda. You see my panda? Look at this. I can do a front flip underwater. That's the one benefit to this street, is I can run around and do front flips all the time, and it is the coolest thing that I can ever do in any game. This is just sick, let's be honest. So that right there, that's my reason for Crustacean Empire being on this list. Next up, we have specifically Drum Jungle in Zafaria. Now, I would like to say I am a very avid supporter of Zafaria. I love Zafaria. I think I'm one of the few who looks at Zafaria and says, yes, this is a really good world. I actually really like this world. The problem with it is that Drum Jungle exists. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think Drum Jungle is nearly as bad as the last two streets I've put on this list. I don't think it's nearly that bad, but there are some issues, like there's some collect quests that are a little bit annoying. Navigating it without getting dragged is almost impossible in some cases, like right here and right back there with the Black Tusk cultists. Trying to get to the boss past these blackback gorillas, I think it's actually impossible without getting dragged. Realistically, I think this street is just a little bit painful. Okay, so next up on our list is actually kind of a double dislike, back to back, and that is Tierra De Brea and then Pitch Black Lake. So let me split it up into two sections. Tierra De Brea, I kind of gave most of my reasons why I hate it in my least favorite quest video, so go check that out if you want to. But I would say, overall, Tierra De Brea is just hands down one of my least favorite streets in this game. Whether it be from the really annoying, like, walking quests with Cactus Guy over here, and, like, Zen just talking your ear off the whole time, being really annoying, to actually, like, fixing the division between these two clans. Maybe it gives me, like, Avatar The Last Airbender Great Divide vibes, and if you don't know what I mean by that, you probably, I mean, you should go watch Avatar The Last Airbender, but it gives me that vibe, and let's be honest, The Great Divide is literally the worst episode in all of Avatar The Last Airbender. I am also losing connection to the game, which is a little bit tragic, but that is not all. It isn't just Tierra De Brea, because following that, immediately is Pitch Black Lake. And Pitch Black Lake is really, really painful. Now, call it my hate for underwater levels, but this street has next to no redeeming qualities. There's so many painful things that happen here, like you have to fight quite a few bosses. I think you fight Belloc here again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you actually do fight Belloc here again, which is really painful. I don't know why they brought Belloc back so many times. That's just kind of annoying. I can do front flips here again though, so that's cool, kind of cool. It's everything that's wrong with an underwater level, but it's also dark and dreary and like in a cave, and it's just really not fun to look at. You need to help, like, you need to defeat, like, so many groups of enemies. Like, there's this one quest where you need to defeat groups of 4 of this enemy, the enemy's up here, and then the enemy's back at the start. And that's really painful when you're duoing with someone, because that means you need to do 2 battles each, or if you're solo, you need to do 2 battles each. It's just really painful. And then there's, like, some collect quests that are just, like, really low drop rate. Overall, this area just kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I've lost my internet connection again. I've been spamming the go home button for a very long time, and I think it's dead. So, I'm back. I restarted my router. My internet was dying once every 10 seconds. It was rather tragic. Now, we're back for the next street, which is the Kanada Desert. Now, I don't know what the, collective feeling on Kanada Desert is, but Kanada Desert, in my opinion, is just god-awful. It is probably the worst street in Chrysalis, and I think the main reason for it is just look at it. It's just so gray. Like, it's everything that I hate about, say, like, Mirage or Crocotopia, where it's, like, sandy and, like, deserty. I don't really like that climate. Just mixed with the fact that it is gray. There's nothing to look at. There's no, like, warm colors. It's just gross, and I hate it so much. There's that. Then you also need to deal with, like, a cannibal kind of cult thing. Just overall, not a fun street. It's definitely one of my least favorites whenever I'm here, and by this point in Chrysalis, I'm already, like, completely checked out of the world mentally. Like, by the time I get to this point towards the end where I'm just like, oh my god, I hate this world, please can I get to Polaris? Like, it's bad. Kanada Desert is bad, and that's what I have to say about that. So next on our list, and probably the finale to our list, I think this is like my 5th or 6th one that I've listed, has to be the Aerial Jungle. Now, I know a lot of people never really understood my dislike of Imperia, or some people did, but a lot of people didn't. I genuinely don't dislike Imperia as much as I did. I think it's a decent world. I can't deny that I hate this first area. Like, Aerial Shore, Aerial Jungle is just absolutely awful. And the reason for that is just look at it. It's like this jungle, rainy, shitty climate. It just looks gross, and I'm not happy with it. Like, this genuinely feels super long, and then you have all of these bosses that I don't like. You have, like, these things, I don't even know what they are, mixed with, like, you know, Davis over here, who's like this tentacle monster. Just none of it's cool. Like, there's that gross water sound effect. It's just not fun. Like, this street is always the most painful for Imperia for me. Like, I genuinely like a lot of the rest of Imperia. Like, Xanadu is pretty cool. Like, the inner outer Aethanor is cool. Aeroplanes is cool. The only thing I dislike as much as Aerial Shore is probably Sapitius because it is gross. But, like, it's just so dark and dreary, and I just don't like it. I just don't like it. Like, this is the part of Elder Scrolls Oblivion that I hated, which is, like, Leyawiin area. For anyone who's played Oblivion, you'll get that reference. If you haven't played Oblivion, you really should. It's a good game. But yeah, I think that that's really my list. I would be more nervous about the length of this video, but I was sitting here for about 10 minutes trying to solve my internet issues, so that should be fine. Let me know what you think. What do you think of the microphone? Is the microphone better quality? I'm not sure. I'm probably only going to be using it for like a week or so, a week or two until Christmas time. But I think it's definitely better than what I was using. So let me know, give me some feedback. But otherwise, drop what your least favorite areas are in the comments below. I am interested. Make sure to like and subscribe and go support me financially on Patreon if you wish. And join my Discord server. We are a really cool community over there. But that's it. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video. Adios.